So I'm like, well, let's try the pass and then like grind it out and get the skin. And I was just so like underwhelmed. I've always been so underwhelmed anytime I've bought anything in this game that like requires like RNG or anything like that. It's so underwhelming. I don't know how people will spend hundreds of dollars per week buying like boxes and capsules and trying to like get skin shards. I don't understand it. Like, it's an addiction. It's clearly an addiction. It's like the same as like me going to like a craps table. Like I don't even know how to play this shit. Like I don't care. It's like, oh, I lose again. Okay, I'm just gonna leave. But yeah, then there's people that'll sit there rolling that dice for fucking 8 hours straight, and it's like it's the addiction, right? Smoke a cigarette, ew. Never smoke another one. Smoke a cigarette, finish the pack. 20 years later, you're still smoking. Like, it's just, some people get addicted to shit, some people don't. I went to try the champion and the skin, the default looks better. I got the latest skin for Aurelia for free via the chest. Like the faker one, you mean? You can get the faker one in the chest? Maybe they just made it so you couldn't get the arrowy one. I'm gonna get off after this. I feel like if I don't, I'm gonna be on like all night. I feel like I'm like getting to that point. Like, I need to like get off and start like, I need to like get off and eat food and like watch a TV show and start like winding down or something.
Forge onward.
Or like turn on a movie or something. I don't know, man. I gotta figure something out. There was some movie I wanted to watch earlier today, and I was gonna watch it after I finished streaming, and I forget what the fucking movie is.
Fear is the
And it really pisses me off. I hate when that happens.
Welcome to Summoner's Rift.
Disable ambient critters and effects. So like, what the fuck was that little squirrel?
30 seconds until minions spawn.
Hotel across the street. Neighbor did a router reset, I think.
First blood.
Keep faith in yourself.
Mmm.
Minions have spawned.
No porcelain Aurelia? I never even heard of that. The OG skins are always gonna look better than the new ones. They try to be too flashy with them. Like this, look how good this skin looks. And it's not flashy at all.
Battle the
Has been slain.
It's just like one of the first skins. They just put more effort into it. They probably just outsource it through AI or something. They probably outsource it and the person that's doing it through the outsource is using AI. That's 100, and then they just like fix it up back at like Riot headquarters or something. I just feel like they're not putting in as much effort into this game as they used to. Like, even with the champion designs, like, they're so lazy these days.
I will not falter.
Like, I feel like they literally just take all the abilities, put them in a hat,
We fight
pull like 5 or 6 things out, and then try to mash it together and make a new champion. Because, like, just think of that Huawei person. Like, they've got a fucking ability that's basically one cast of a Zereth ult
protect our land.
at, like, half range. It's literally like they said, okay, here's Zereth's ult. Let's change the animation, lower the cast range, and call it a day. Maybe the bosses won't know. Maybe the bosses who don't play this game won't notice.
Break their ranks!
You know that they've got smart with that shit. They're like, oh, our boss doesn't even know what champion we're working on. Let's just amalgamate a bunch of different abilities again. They'll never know.
I will
But
lead
it's
the
like
charge.
it's just starting to become more and more noticeable, I find. To the point that like the champions just seem completely broken and there's like no effort put into them at all. It's like, oh, you can cast that ability without me even seeing you cast it. And it does how much? It does like it does like a crazy amount of damage. It's like literally Xerath's ult, but a bit like slightly bigger. And she can just cast it from like, I don't know, maybe like here to here. Like, it's ridiculous. It's crazy.
Needs hope.
Like, it's nuts. I know she can at least cast it from here to like here or some shit. Like that's over the top without even being able to see me. I'm sorry. Like, that's like, look how small that radius is on Cassiopeia's thing. And it's like roughly the same amount of time that you have to dodge it. That's what I mean. It's like such a lazy design. Like, Cassiopeia's is fine. It feels balanced. When she hits me with it, I'm like, nice. She hit me with her skill shot. When I avoid it, I'm like, hell yeah. Like, I actually walked out of it. But like the Huawei one, it's like I feel like I have to randomly keep moving around when she's not on my screen, or I'm gonna get hit by some ability that I just can't dodge in time, because it just pops up so fast and it's such a big radius that even with boots, and you know it's coming and you see it immediately, you can't walk out of it
For Demacia.
like 99% of the time. So it's like, what are we talking about?
Break their ranks!
She has like 12 abilities or some shit. Like,
Demacia marches as one.
how are you not running out of mana? Like, I don't know. It just feels like there's no counterplay to that champion unless the person's playing the champion poorly. And I feel like that's how like all of their new champions have been designed lately.
I'm coming.
An ally has been slain.
Where it's like the champion sucks dick unless it's like somebody competent with them, and then they're absolutely fucking cracked and busted.
Has been slain.
And it never used to be like that with champ designs. Like, champions used to come out and they'd be like, it'd be like, oh man, the Q does like 110%. We gotta reduce that to like 75. That's way too much. Now it's just like everybody, it's like no matter how many nerfs or whatever, the champion's just busted in nature. And like, we all know at least one champion we're thinking of off the top of the head when we hear that. Like, just think how crazy like Viago is.
Forge onward.
Like, he literally just, he just spams. He just literally goes do 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 do. Like, there's like, it's like there's no effort put into his like design. It's like they just gave him a bunch of abilities that he can just spam, and like, I don't know, it's weird. It's like the same thing with like Silas, like really hyped up champion designs that just have like kind of mediocre abilities. Like, I'm still kind of like shocked that Silas, they say he steals your ultimate, but he can steal your ultimate when you're at level 5. He can steal your ultimate and you still have your ultimate. So he didn't really steal anything from me. He just kind of copied it. It's like weird design. It's weird design. Why shouldn't, when he steals somebody's ult, it should put their ult on cooldown for 30 seconds. Hot take, but like, hey, I think that's how it should work. He stole your fucking ultimate, man. He broke into the vault, he stole that shit, and he made off with it. Isn't that like the lore of his champion or some shit? Like, he's like a thief or like something? Like, maybe I'm thinking of Action. I don't know. I'm just saying, it seems weird that it says steals your ultimate when you don't even have your ult. And yet when he steals it, I still have it when I do. It's weird. It's just weird. Haven't seen a K-Sante player in months. Yeah, because they probably nerfed him into the ground.
Our
I
courage
seen one like the other
never
day
wavers.
and he lost the game. His ult is that he uses your ult as his own? Yeah,
An enemy has been slain.
but there's like no downplay to using it for the other person. It's just weird.
We fight for those who cannot.
You think if he steals my ult, it should go on cooldown until like there should be a mechanic for me to steal it back, or it should just straight up be on cooldown. Like, you know, like it should just literally go to him, and then when he uses it, then mine goes on cooldown. You know what I mean? Like I can't use it until he does. That kind of shit. Like that'd be broken as fuck. But like, you think they would have tried? The whole game's broken. You think they would have tried something new? Right? He wasn't mage. Demacia doesn't like mages or something, and he was in prison for a long time. He tricked him to trade Lux and escape using her spark. Yeah, I don't know the lore. I haven't like. I remember like the video where you like broke rid of the chains and stuff. I thought that was kind of cool, but
An ally has been slain.
Be just.
it's like, oh, he's just an arcade chain. He just spams his abilities constantly. Isn't Garen technically a mage? No.
This world needs hope.
What? I don't even know how to like I feel like I don't need to explain how he's not. I feel like you need to explain why you think he is.
Never forget why.
How does he use Garen's not a mage, never has been. How does he use his stuff then? How does he use his ult? Explain that. How does he use his sword? I don't know. Let's read the description. So Garen calls upon the might of Demacia to slay his enemy. So there you go. He calls upon the might of Demacia.
For Demacia.
He brings justice down with his sword.
Forward.
Ain't no magic in that. He's just saying, yo, Demacia, smite this fool.
Demacia marches as one.
An ally has been slain. An ally has been slain. An enemy has
How
been
does the
slain.
sword ult appear in the first place though? It's the medium in which he conjures it by.
Fear not, I'm coming.
It's like praying. He prays to the Demacian gods through his sword as a medium to strike down his opponents because he is the guardian of Demacia.
Charge!
I don't know, man.
Ready.
Maybe he's imbued with magic that allows him to do this. I don't know.
I will not
Look it up. Go
falter.
look up the lore. I don't know Garen lore. I just play him because he's cracked and busted. Like, I don't care where he came from, what his backstory is. Who his girlfriend is. Like, I don't care about any of this bullshit in the League universe. If they ever make an MMO, I'm gonna spam click through every single quest. Like, I'm like, 99% of us are. Nobody gives a fuck about lore. He is Demacia. Well, there you go. He's what? I don't even know what we're talking about. I'm kind of lost here. All the quests are unskippable cutscenes. Sounds about right. And you can buy a pass. You can buy a pass that makes them skippable.
Keep faith in yourself.
And for half the cost, you can buy a pass that doubles the speed of the cutscene. Yeah, the $100 cutscene pass.
Rampage.
In the
Do you play the game all day and are you annoyed with the cutscenes? You can skip them for only $14.99.
Your team has destroyed a turret.
Resets every split. Oh, it's fun to shit on League, but like, goddamn, do they fuck
Our
themselves?
courage must never waver.
Like with their own bullshit sometimes. Like they made the meme themselves. I have no sympathy.
Your team has destroyed a turret.
Sounds like EA bad touch.
We fight for those who cannot. Break their ranks!
Yeah, I don't know. It's like they got their player base. They're happy with it. They make millions of dollars. They can give a fuck about the free players now. That's how I see it. When the game first started, they cared more about the free players because it's like they were the only players. But now it's like now they've got the players addicted and they're making all this money and they're in the esports. So they're like they don't give a fuck. They don't care. Release a new battle pass every 2 weeks. We need to make money. You know, whereas like think about like their systems back in the days, like they literally would change their entire system because of how grindy it was for the average person to get into rank. Like you used to have to grind out each individual rune, and then they made it to where the runes were a set of runes that were free for everybody as long as you were level 30. And then they changed it to like what we have now, more of like this gimmicky easy crap where it's like pick this, pick this, pick this. Okay, pick this, okay, pick this, pick one of these three, pick one of these three, pick one of these three. Like it used to be like a skill tree. You'd put like 5 points into this, 2 points into that, a point into that, get to this one, you'd unlock this, you'd get more like, you'd get like some things had damage below 40%, some things had more damage on your first strike. Like it was so much more in depth than it is now. And then they changed it because they got all the people into the game that spend money, and these people are retards. They're stupid and they don't know how to fucking play the game. So they had to start dumbing down the system. And that's what you're seeing right now. It's just all these low fucking IQ players coming into the game that spend money on the gacha system, but don't understand the mechanics of how to actually play the game. So they have to dummy down the game so that these people continue to spend money.
Double kill.
The what? The low IQ retards that play this game and don't know what they're doing. They're like, how do I build a skill tree? It's the same thing with WoW. What is a gold quince? I have no idea, man.
Fear not, I'm coming.
I don't even know. I missed the gold quince. Yeah, I don't know what that is. But it's the same thing with WoW. They used to have really in-depth skill trees, and then they dummied them down to what we have now, which is like it's basically autocomplete, where it's like there's one best path, and like every other path that you could potentially go is dog shit. You know what I mean? With the old runes, there was like you could literally build your own path. Just go max gold build, 3 gold quince, philosopher's stone, heart of gold. The old runes, the original runes. Yeah, I might be talking about. I was talking about the. Maybe this was both at the same. Maybe both of these systems were active at the same time. It's been so long. But I remember there was one where you could put like 9 or 10 glyphs. It was like a glyph. It was like glyph runes, and then there was like a skill tree. I don't know if they were both in this game at the same time or not. Probably. But like that's what I remember when I first started playing.
I will not falter.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like that was something that they changed because it was so grindy for the average player to put time and effort into getting. It was literally so grindy. It was a terrible system. It sounds good on paper and like I liked it, but like it's a terrible system for the average player. It takes way too long to get those fucking runes and glyphs and whatever, and you have to have so many different. You can't just switch between playing Garen and Veigar, because you need a completely different set. You need to go from like, you know, tank or an AD to like magic pen and AP. It's just like you know, like it was crazy. It was crazy. They had to switch it, but it's like the reason they switched it is because everybody complained about it and everybody said it sucked, and it's like, well, we're gonna switch it and it's gonna help, it's gonna give our players like a better experience. And like that's the game that I started off with, is this game that was free to play, that constantly updated for the player's experience. And the moment it started to go downhill is when they updated the client and everybody said the client sucked and they were like tough potatoes. That's when it started to go downhill, in my opinion. And then they made it faster to get to level 30. So it's like you already made it easier to get in the rank, yet now you're making it easier to get to playing rank. Now you're making it easier to get to rank. So like now we're at the point where it's like, you know, like they created that problem with the whole account selling themselves, because it used to take a solid month to get your account to level 30 because that was the max level. And now it takes like, what, 3 days? If you run a bot for 3 days and you're level 30, you couldn't do that back then. You would have had to literally run your computer all the time and you wouldn't be able to play League, because like, you know, shit like fuck, you probably couldn't run like multiple instances of League on a computer 10 years ago without it being like laggy and shit, or maybe it just didn't work that way with the bots. Like the bots just weren't as advanced. I mean, I remember RuneScape bots back in the day, those things fucking sucked. Nowadays it's like you can't even, nowadays you watch this shit and how they work and it's like, holy fuck, like it's crazy. Back in the day you used to just be mouse scripts. Now they're actually like going off of colors and shit, and like it's like indistinguishable to players. It's crazy. But it's like yeah, when the new client released and it sucked and everybody said that and they just said whatever, that's when it started to go downhill. And then they changed they changed those events to battle passes. But they did it slowly. First what they did is they got you off of wanting to not, they got you off of, man, they got you to the point of saying, these events suck, we need something different. How do we do that? Nerf the events. Nerf the events for all the people that don't pay for the pass. Okay. Now nerf the rewards for everybody, even those that pay for the pass. But do it like subtly and over time. Okay? Then say we're listening, we're gonna rework this, boom, battle pass. Like, it's not hard to like see how they did it. But like, that doesn't make my gameplay any better. It doesn't add to my experience playing this game. It doesn't make me want to spend $20 every 3 weeks to get some random skin, knowing that in 3 weeks they're just gonna do it again. Like like I can't even get the skin if I don't pay the money, even though I play the game and I like, you know what I mean? It used to be, if you played the game, you could get all the events, like you could get the points theoretically to buy the skin without buying the pass. Like somebody did math on it or something, and I think that's probably when they started to change it, because they probably showed the math to somebody at Riot, and then they said, wait, people can just play the game for free and get all the rewards and they don't have to pay? That's not how we want. That's not what we want. We want them to pay for the rewards. No. And then they just started nerfing it. Because I specifically remember it used to be like you play a game and you'd get like 20 points or something, up to like 30 points, and you needed 100 points to get like so many tokens in the thing, right? It was like 20 tokens. And then they changed it to where you needed 200 points. They give you half as many for the win, but they also only give you 10 tokens now when you get to the 200 points. So they effectively like 4x'd your time to grind, because they halved the rewards and doubled the length. time that like it took to get them. That was when I started to notice that like free-to-play players got less rewards, like in general. Like you're getting less chests, you're getting 1 orb per battle pass for free. You know, like you're not getting anything anymore for free. If you don't pay, you don't get to play. And like that's their new model kind of thing, right? With like the battle passes and shit, or like monetization. Like because they know that people will buy it, so it's like why cater to the free to play? All games do this. RuneScape's done it too. RuneScape used to be so good for the players, and like they're still probably one of the better ones out there, but it's like so the value for like buying some of these things like keys is just so absurd. That game was easy. I mean, it was click a tree, wait for the tree to despawn, click another tree. It wasn't supposed to be a hard game. Click the goblin. Don't let your health go down to 0. Eat a food in your inventory. Keep hitting the goblin. You know, it was never supposed to be a tough game where you had to do everything perfectly to beat a boss to get some drop worth billions of gold. That was never the point. It was always a social MMO. That's why RuneScape popped off so hard. And it's like sadly just like it's just how it works. It's like, well, we have the players focus less on the free to play and getting the new players now that we have them, and focus on milking the players that we have of their money. And like the goal isn't to milk them until the game dies, but like it's like by doing that you progressively like go over the line more and more, to the point where it's like the free-to-play players get nothing. Even when you're paying, it's like, you know, now we got the $500 skin. You know what I mean? Like, you see where I'm going? Like, that skin being released for the faker thing, that made me feel like a poor bastard. That's all that made me feel like. It made me feel poor. It wasn't about celebrating Faker. It was about whether or not you could afford to celebrate Faker. And that's the difference, man. That's the difference. It's like, and I know it sounds like one of these rambles, but like I don't really give a fuck. It's just how it works with every game. You make a new game comes out, it's, you know, you're playing it, you're getting so much more rewards for your time. Your time is just valued so much better. And then as the game progressively gets larger, more, you know, more dummied down, I guess. Like, you know, you try to make it so that you're as open to an audience that's as broad as possible. And then that's what ends up killing games. Because it's like they lose like the path or the sight that they initially had. I think it's kind of happening with this game. Because it's like if they cared about their player base, they would ban smurfing. Straight up. If they wanted to improve the experience for the average player, they would ban smurfing. They would make smurfing reportable. And I'm talking like hard smurfing, like confirm, like they know if you have a diamond account and you're playing in bronze. It's not that hard to check. You get reported for it. It could be automated. Is player on this IP logging into 2 simultaneous accounts of extreme skill? Yeah, they are. Are they playing abnormally better than everybody in this elo while continuing to not climb through it? Think about it like that. Like, are they playing really, really, really good and then sacking some games like for like a day, and then playing really, really good and then sacking? Do they have a YouTube channel? Like, come on, they could totally look at all this shit and figure it out and crack down on it, but they don't, because they don't care about the player's experience anymore, because the player's going to play the game no matter how the experience is. And I think I'm a perfect example of this, because I bitch about this game and how bad it is and how I want to play other games and quit playing this every single day. Yet every single day I wake up, take a shower, you know, wake up, take a shit, take a shower, whatever. I wake up and I immediately get ready to fucking come on stream and play this game. So it's like, I know exactly what I'm talking about, because I am that player.
I'd rather be home anyway.
It's just I don't spend the money. Even if I had the money, I wouldn't spend it right. It's such a shitty company. I honestly, ever since that Vanguard shit, I've lost so much fucking respect for this company. Like, I used to kind of be like, all right, you know, at least they're trying, you know. Like, maybe they're just like really bad at it, but like, I don't know. Like, that Vanguard shit, they could have handled that better. They just blocked everybody on social media who like talked about it. They kicked people off the Reddit who talked about it. You literally couldn't mention it on the subreddit. Like, even if it was like, hey guys, what's Vanguard? Boom, your post was instantly deleted. Like, it was just crazy. It's great. It reminded me of COVID, man, where you couldn't talk about COVID, or you got banned on Facebook for 2 days. Like, if you talked negatively about the vaccine, they just banned you on Facebook for a week. Like, it's like it's like, what? Like, what? Like, I'm starting to notice like more of this happening in life ever since then. Like, ever since 2020, man, life has definitely changed. Like, everything's doubled in price. I feel like they're trying to crack down on the internet. It's like it feels like a different kind of like time. Like, it feels like you know, like how like revolutions, or like, you know, like industrial revolutions, like just kind of change everything. It reminds me of like something like that. Like, I think that's like the time in my lifetime where it's like we went from this era to this era, because everything since then it's like, yeah, obviously it's not completely different, but it seems like everything right now is going in a completely different direction than it was pre-COVID. And it's like, it seems like it's going towards a more like censorship, you know, like social media, politically driven, like everything. Like, I just feel like the world wasn't this fucking nuts even back when I first started streaming in 2020. It's like it's gotten like progressively nuttier since then. Like, even 2019, like 2018, they were just normal years. I went to work, had a girlfriend, I had a cat, I went to the gym, I played games. And then it's like, I don't know, man, it's like all of a sudden a couple of years, like, it's like I can't even believe that was only like 5 or 6 years ago. It seems like it seems like I'm living 20 years in the future now. Not even because of like technology, just because of how different everything is. Like, it's nuts. Meows cutely at Nerd Vibrations from under his desk. Purr. I appreciate that. I don't have a cat right now. I wish I did. Never forgotten. Always remembered. A little early for the Christmas cap. It's never too early to celebrate a good time. Level 431. God damn. It's Christmas in July, baby. You getting on with? Oh wait, it's August. Yeah, right. We're in August now. I forgot. Like, what, 4 or 5 days?
Locked, loaded, and ready to rock.
I don't know. I like the hat. It makes me feel good. 4 days in, silly goose. Ah, who keeps track of that? Oh, I'm bot lane? What?
Orders are more like guidelines, really.
I'm really hoping I hear back this. I think I'm gonna hear back this week on the job.
30 seconds.
I might even hear back tomorrow. So I still gotta send all that shit in. I'm just, man, I'm just so nervous about like sending it in and then being told I didn't get the job. I feel like that's why I haven't sent it in yet. Cause like maybe it's like they're waiting for me to send it in out of like,
Where's the action?
like courtesy or something. And then they're just gonna tell me no. And I got a phone call randomly this weekend,
Minions have spawned.
and they didn't leave a voicemail, and I'm like, oh.
Walking tall.
I'm not being tested. Yes.
I just need a point in the right direction.
I don't want to hear it when I say like one negatively sounding thing. Not so positive, huh?
Ready? Aim.
I got no time for it. It's why I changed my name to Nerd Vibrations from the positive guy. Because I couldn't come on stream without a smile, without people being like, what's wrong? I thought you were the positive guy. Like, it just burnt me out, man. I got burnt out with the name. Like, it's like I wasn't trying to like keep up a facade. It was just a name. It's my League of Legends name. I'm just the positive guy in the lobby. I'm just, oh, we got the positive guy? Sweet. He's not gonna yell at me. He's the positive guy. Like, it's nothing more than that. Like, a meme kind of thing. But people took it so seriously on Twitch, man. I don't know. Maybe it's just one of those things I had to like get over, but I couldn't. And it just really annoyed me. So I said, let's just find a new name and move on. Plus, it kind of like I felt like it did to a degree like link me to having to name myself the same thing everywhere, and it was hard to get like an underscore or like the positive guy just because like and, like it looks really bad when you don't have like spaces. I don't know. It wasn't the name at the end of the day, but. It's just like those cheeky comments, man. They pick you apart over time on this social media shit. That's why I never got into stuff like Facebook and Twitter and all this. Like I got no mental for it. Like I'll take it too serious or something.
I'm gonna need the extended warranty.
Like I'll get too into it. I had to limit myself with Reddit because I would just like doom scroll through Reddit looking at r/conspiracy for something that was like interesting.
A bandle gunner never turns.
Like you come across this random post about the pyramids and how it like generates electricity and you're like, oh man, this is crazy. And then you realize you've been sitting there for like 8 hours straight and your fucking back hurts and
Woo! Who wears a helmet?
it's just not healthy. And like the people in charge have no understanding of any of this shit. Like they're trying to ban TikTok. Like ban all social media. Get this shit out of here. Like fuck, man, that shit was a mistake. Like Facebook, man? No, that shit should have never been a thing. Facebook split the world apart more than it ever connected us, unironically.
Fireworks?
'Cause I feel like as a kid, I never had like self-esteem issues really. I just never really gave a fuck and just did whatever I wanted. Like I just did my own thing, right? Until I got Facebook.
Double time.
And then it's like, you know, what are you doing this weekend? Oh, no, I'm just hanging out playing some RuneScape. And then you see like all of your other classmates, oh, they're at a party, you know? It just like shit like that, just like, that's what I'm talking about, man. That shit gets in you, that shit like seeps into your mind over time. And it made me be like, why am I not getting invited to these parties?
Falling back.
You know what I mean? Like you start to think like that, and then once you start thinking like that, it's over. And I think it's a completely destructive thing, especially for like the younger gen. Like the younger you are, the more destructive that shit is, because it's like worse on your head, right? But like even for the older people, it's like I don't know, I don't see any benefit at all in having Facebook other than like to communicate with people. But like I don't know, it's like
An enemy has been slain.
You've awoken something deep inside.
I feel like that was kind of like a novelty thing, like it was a novelty period, you know? It was like when you first got your cell phone, you added everybody from school, but then you never texted anybody because they weren't actually your friends. Oh, I remember that. I had all these people's numbers, but I would never text any of them, and they would never text me because we're not actually friends. It was just, oh, you have a cell phone? What's your number? Oh my god, I want to add you. Because it was like, you know, like a Pokemon, like a Pokedex. You gotta collect everybody in the class's number, you know? Like there's so many people I have on Facebook that I don't think I've ever even talked to once in real life.
You're in trouble now.
Like, and it's like not even like these like random people from like Latin America that add you and try to scam you. It's like literal people from my hometown that I went to like school with that I've just never talked to once in my life at school. And they add me on Facebook one day and I accepted, and we never talk after that. And it's like a weird, I don't get it. It's so I never got into it. I never let myself get into it. I stopped watching TV because I did a fucking paper in grade 7 on propaganda, and I realized that Canada has just as much propaganda as China. It's just in a different way. And people can say that's bullshit, but it's not. It's really not. We censor the fucking shit out of our news and media here in Canada. We selectively show things. It's no different than the States on how it's like, they only show the mass shootings and then the cats getting their, the cats getting adopted. And then, another Hamas strike. And, look at Jeffrey, he got a scholarship by playing basketball for his local high school team. Now back over to Ukraine. There's just been a drone strike and 47 people have died. Oh, by the way, the football game, like it's just back and forth like that. And I noticed that at a very young age and just got myself right the fuck out of it. Because I noticed when I grew up, my parents would like religiously watch the news every night. And I always thought it was super boring. But then when I started to get older and watch the news, I started realizing it was just propaganda. So I just stopped watching it, and I feel like it was the best decision I've ever made in my life. Like, I don't have cable here. I watch movies and like Netflix. I know I'm getting like you're not avoiding the predictive programming. Like I know I'm not wearing a tinfoil hat going full blown anti-conspiracy. Like I'm just saying, like, there's certain things that are easily avoidable that I think you should avoid. I think the news, politics, social media, everybody should just fucking avoid that shit like the plague. It's never gonna help your life. It's all fucking rigged. Even if it's not, it's like it's been so long, we haven't been able to fix it. I don't think we're going to fix it. If anything, we're just gonna get, if anything, people are getting fucking stupider and are just gonna make worse decisions over time. And that's like, come on, what are we talking about? The people we got now that are smart get older. We don't teach the kids growing up the same core values, so they become retarded, illiterate. They can't read clocks. Like it's just like.
Time for some rearm and redeploy.
Like bro, Asm was talking about it there earlier today with all that crap going on over in the EU. How it's like we're cycling back to like another time where we're going to elect like there's going to be another like Hitler elected on the planet. Like maybe not specifically to like you know do what Hitler did, but like in a like he said it's probably going to be even worse because like you know the technological advances, just how fucking crazy people are these days. Like it just think about it, like it's nuts. It's nuts. And like racism's been coming back like fucking every year, harder and harder and harder. It's just like people are so much more divided now than they were like 20 years ago, even though we're all connected through the internet. Like it's stupid, but now they're trying to like censor the internet because they know we're all on the internet and they only want us to see what they want us to see because they don't want us to talk to each other. That was never the point. The whole point was to just, it's like there was never really a point until there was, because like, you know, it's just how it progressed. But we're getting back to that point where people are getting stupider because everything's in your palm of your hand. You know, you don't have to do math in your head anymore. You barely even have to finish school. Like, you know, it's like people are making jobs off of just posting pics of their tits and their dick, and it's like we're like this, like it's not everybody doing this, but it's like a lot of people are doing this now that, you know, weren't doing this way back then. It's like just crazy shit that like reminds me of the stuff that you heard people doing back then that you don't do anymore now, because it's like, you know, it's just like, oh, it's not as profitable anymore. And I got nothing against selling pics of your tits or whatever. Fuck, you know, if I had big tits, I'd probably sell pictures of them too. Like, you know, fuck it, free money. But like, my point is that I don't really know what my point is here. It's something about interconnectivity, and it's like things are less genuine. It's like, I don't know. Like, I remember the thing that really blew my mind not too long ago was I read like a study that talked about humans and how many like naked humans on average humans seen like over the ages. And it was like it's like when you compare like when you think about like declining birth rates and stuff, right? And then you start to think about the internet. Well, there's so much porn and stuff out there, right? Well, how does that factor in? Well, like you can literally see more pussy in 1 fucking hour on the internet if you're 70 years old than you could have if you were 20 at the time 50 years ago in like your entire life. Like, it's crazy. It's like it was like put into the perspective like that. Like you could see so many, you like think about it. Think about it. Like naturally, unless you're going to like strip clubs and stuff, how often do you see somebody naked? Like when you're in a relationship with them, probably having sex, you know, maybe you just catch a slip at the pool by accident. You know, somebody was in there changing, like, oh fuck, you know, you see a dick. Like, I mean, that shit used to happen when I was a kid all the time. But like, it's public places, whatever, right? But it's like, now it's like, if I want to see a picture of a dick, I just type dick into Google and I get 1 billion fucking images of a dick. You know, same with tits. Like, it's just, it programs our brains after so long to like not go out and seek the real thing because of how much it's just so much easier to look like, oh man, I really love tits. I'd love to look at a pair. Hey, there's Google, and then there's like, you know, me going down to the bar and flirting with a girl, and maybe she doesn't like me, and I get rejected. Now I don't get to see any tits tonight. Maybe they're not even that great. It's like, oh man, I can just sit here and look at boobies for 4 hours straight. Like, what are we talking about? You know, like it's just it programs your brain differently. And I was reading a study about it there not too long ago, and I was like, damn, because I always knew porn was like bad for you, but like, holy fuck. It can like completely sap your sex drive. Like, you have to like stop it. It's like one of these things that's easily recoverable. You just have to stop watching porn and like looking up like stop going on Instagram, stop like playing these games like Stellar Blade where you're just staring at a girl's ass the entire time who's got huge tits flopping around. Like, it's like, if you don't think this shit's like rewiring your brain, like, I'm sorry. Like, I'm not trying to like sit here and say, oh, boycott these games by no fucking means, you know. I think that Stellar Blade game is a great game. It looks like it performs great and it looks great. It's just like it's becoming more modernized. It's becoming more like we're becoming more desensitized by the day and by like the year without even realizing it to like all these different things. And then we're wondering like why the birth rates are going down. And it's like, well, like, do we really have to like think about it that hard? I feel like it's kind of obvious when you really sit down and think about it. That should be a free kill. I thought he was walking over that way. Like, I feel like it's super obvious when you really think about stuff like this, but there's never an obvious answer for some reason.
Surprise! Orders are more like guidelines, right? Yeah! Woo! Yeah! Yeah! Light him up!
I should have seen that coming. I didn't want to back in the bush for like the exact same reason though, of somebody running down and killing me. It's Schrodinger's box, man. You can never win with this game. You lose no matter what you do.
Your team has destroyed a turret.
You only win when you stop giving a fuck.
Back to the action. Blast off! Where's the action?
Oh my god, why did I do that?
Hey, where'd you go? You're afraid. Full volley. Walking tall.
Team has destroyed a turret.
I thought it was really interesting to read that study because I never thought about it like that. Like I always thought about it like, yeah, porn's bad because it's like, you know, you're like I always thought like the one-on-one, like a one-to-one comparison, you know?
That looks cool.
Like instead of focusing on your partner, you're focusing on the porn. But I never thought about it in terms of the fact that it can make you see a potential partner differently because you've had all of these other like there's all these other like images and things like
I
stuck in your
just
head
need a
now.
point in the right direction.
That's like and like, you know, it's like human nature to want better or something. So it's like you become more picky, and then it's like
Overwatch.
it's not like good to be too picky, but then it's like, you know, like this AI shit, dude. Holy fuck, stay away from that. I'm gonna tell y'all right now, real talk, stay the fuck away from AI porn if you ever want to have a successful relationship in the future. Because if you get too invested into that shit, I guarantee that's gonna fuck you up permanently.
Time to fill
Like
up my
it's
gift
like
card.
past the uncanny valley point. Like if you haven't looked, don't get curious. It's one of those things.
Easy peasy.
An enemy has been slain.
Sometimes outnumbered, never outgunned. A bamboo gunner never turns tail, unless it's to taunt.
Team has destroyed a turret. An enemy has been slain. An enemy has been slain.
Come on, get him, fuck him up. Fuck up the frog. Dude, he's a frog, just kill him.
Enemy has been slain.
Holy shit, man. Like, where's the car, dude? Somebody gotta get the car. Run that frog over. I don't know, man. Life just feels like it's getting weirder and weirder and like harder and harder, but like not, it's like not harder, but like stranger and like more uncanny. Like it's like life is becoming less life and more simulation. I don't even know how to put it into words. That makes sense. It's just like I feel like the first 30 years of my life are going to be completely different from the last from the next 30. Like it's just nuts. Like the last 5 years have eclipsed the last 25 years
I dare ya.
in terms of like how much things have advanced or gotten out of hand or crazy or like it's just nuts. Like when I was a kid, things were changing all the time, you know? Like I remember my dad saying, oh, I used to go to the fucking, you know, I used to go to the movies and get a pop and a soda and a bag of chips for 25 cents. I remember all this shit. And it's like, you know, when I was buying a bag of chips, it was like 99 cents, you know? And now you go to the gas station, buy the same bag of chips, it's smaller, and they cost $3.50. Like, it's just like, it's so much further gone than when I was like younger. Like it's advancing so much more rapidly than it ever has. I think everybody can kind of like feel it. Like it almost feels like time's speeding up or something.
Your team has destroyed an inhibitor.
Who wants some? You want some? Come on.
Like 2024 is almost over. I don't know. I just find that crazy. Canada Day was over a month ago. Like what? And like that's the thing. Like Canada Day happened, man. I didn't even hear about it. Like I totally forgot Canada Day was like. I knew it was July for. But I just completely forgot about it. Like nobody was talking about it. Nobody was like, "Oh man, are you going out for Canada?" Like because nobody does this anymore. It's too expensive to go out. Like it's like a different time than it was 5 years ago. 5 years ago, yo man, what are you doing in Canada? You going to the bar? 4 of us over at the here, and then we're gonna go here, and then we're gonna go there. And it's like, man, like I could go out and get drunk. I didn't even have a job. It was like, it was just I could like just come by money, like, you know, like doing pickup work or whatever, like just anything at all. Like it was just S plus. Let's go. It's just crazy how like right now I apply to like 4 department stores and none of them call me back. The only people that call me back are like youth and child care services. So I'm like, what? Like, it just makes me think like, man, I feel like youth and child care was something that like back when I was a kid, everybody like, it was like abundant. It was abundant. It was like everywhere. Like there was a home, somebody could look after a kid everywhere. And now it's like they're hiring me to do this. Like the fun, like I just compare myself to my babysitter and I'm like, what? Like I don't even know, how did I even get, how am I even in this position right now? Like I kind of find it kind of loony, honestly. But I mean, it is what it is. Job's a job and I need one, so I'll take whatever I can get, honestly. That's basically what I told them. I told them I applied for 3 or 4 different jobs all on the same day because I just need one. They were the only ones that messaged me back. I just find it crazy that it's like everything is flip-flop. Where is she? Back? More gaming, cutie? Let's go. Just kind of rambling about how everything's gotten kind of crazy since like COVID happened. Like I don't know, I just feel like I just thought about it. I was like 2017 normal, 2018 normal, 2019 normal, the start of 2020 normal, and then it's like as soon as the COVID started, it's like everybody went crazy. Prices like tripled. It's like everybody's gone loony. Like, and it's like the world hasn't recovered since. Like, it's weird. It's like we're in a, it's like if I was in a coma and I didn't even know COVID existed and I woke up right now, like I went into a coma at the start of 2020 and I woke up at the start of 2024 and was like, yo, what up, guys? I'd be like, what the fuck? Why is the world so different? Like, it's crazy. I feel like I can't like do anything without going into debt. Like it's like I don't even know, man. Maybe like I just need this job and like pay my debt down and shit. But like even then, it's like, holy fuck. It's like nobody else can do anything because they're all in debt and they all need a job. Like it's like,
Always for the mafia.
oh man, don't stress, you'll get it. I hope. I try not to stress about it too much anyway. I mean, like, who cares? Like, we're all gonna die. Like, what are they gonna do? Throw me in jail because I got $10,000 debt that I can't pay? Like, fuck off. Like, declare bankruptcy or some shit. Like, what are you gonna do? Come and take all my games? Like, my Game Boy games? Oh, I'll just box them all up and send them to my sister. And then you can come and take absolutely nothing out of my empty house. Like I don't even know. Yeah, I don't know. My mom mentioned that one day in a negative undertone. Like if you don't get a job soon and don't pay off your debt and you have to go and declare bankruptcy, I can't help you. I'm helping you like as much as I can. Like it wasn't like it wasn't like she was being a dick. It was like she basically was just being like, if you don't get your shit together, I can't help you. I'm like, yeah, fair enough. Like, but I'd rather not because that kind of fucks up your credit and stuff. But I mean, my credit's already really fucked up. I don't know. I would rather just get a job and pay off my debt. But then, you know, like scam the system somehow. And then have to worry about that, how I did that 20 years ago to get out of like $10,000 debt, and now I'm 100 grand in debt and I'm fucked. Like I don't know, man. I'm not at that point. I'm not at the point of bankruptcy.
Fear not.
I'm at the point of like paying off one credit card with another credit card, and I just don't have a job. But like once I get a job, then I don't need to use the credit card to pay off the credit card, and then all of a sudden my credit cards are needing to be paid off less and less and less, and oh, I don't have to pay them off anymore. Great. Oh, I have money in the bank. Great.
Those who cannot.
Oh, something happened. That's okay. I have money now. Like I just feel like that's I don't know.
For Demacia.
That's too stressful to even like think about doing. Like are they gonna take my car? Are they gonna take my fucking
Our courage must never waver.
the couch? Are they gonna take my bed? Like
Forward!
it's like, oh, there's probably things they can't take, like your bed, and you know they had to leave like one lamp in the house. Like, I don't want to deal with this bullshit. I'd rather just go into fucking debt and be like, who cares? Everybody's in debt. It's a scam. I learned my lesson by the age of 30 to get out of the debt and never get back into it. So I mean, you know,
Our land.
lesson learned, I guess. I got something out of it. I don't see it as like any different than having a student loan. I had a $20,000 student loan and I paid that off. I can pay off $10,000 in credit card debt. I don't even have a job. Like, what are we talking about? It's just COVID hit. I couldn't work for 4 years. I mean, I decided not to because I didn't want to deal with the fucking masking bullshit and like the public. I just didn't want to deal with any of that bullshit. Imagine having to deal with having to tell somebody to wear a mask at Walmart. Fuck that. I don't want to. Somebody comes in with a Spider-Man mask on or some shit, an Iron Man helmet on, and then do I have to tell them to leave? Like, am I gonna get fired for letting them through the door? Like, is this person gonna be I just feel like people are just trolling all the time. Like, I just didn't want to deal with any of that bullshit. So fuck this shit. And then they started requiring vaccines, and I'm like, man, like, bro, like that, I just like I asked my doctor about it. He gives me no information other than we'll know after the fact whether or not it's effective at doing what it's supposed to do. And I'm like, well, should I get it? He's like, if you want to get it, you can. I can direct you to where to get it, but you're a young, healthy male who literally never gets sick, so I feel like your immune system's pretty strong, and I don't know enough about it to tell you that I do recommend it. So like that, he was pretty straight with me on it. And I feel like a lot of people didn't go to a doctor and actually ask them. They just went on Facebook and started calling people anti-vaxxers that didn't get it because the government told them that they should get it, and they felt like they felt like they had like they're invested into this now or some shit. I don't know how it works, but it was totally like a psychological play. Especially like you can't say it's not when they're bribing people with $100 to go get a vaccine. It's a brand new type of vaccine. Like, the fuck out of here. Like, what are we talking about? That shit is so crazy to me that nobody questioned that shit, and that even now I'm probably gonna look over at what you just typed and it's gonna be like, damn, I can't believe you're an anti-vaxxer. Less COVID talk, more gaming QE. That's what I mean though. Like nobody wants to talk about it. Like, I agree with you, but it's like that's like the point. Nobody wants to talk about it, and they know that, and they used it to the advantage to fuck people over. And it's like, I just didn't want to deal with that, so I didn't have a job for 5 years.
The cursed villains.
And now I just have a lot of debt, but I mean, it is what it is. I'll pay off my debt. Go back to the gym, find a cute girl, get married, have some kids, fuck it.
I will lead the charge.
Go camping out in the woods and shit. Like,
An ally has been slain.
I just feel like if I don't get to do shit like that when I'm,
Deeds shape the future.
by the time I'm like 60, it's like, man. feel like I still got like tons of time to kind of course correct. You know, everybody's got a learning curve. I didn't become a meth addict or anything, so I'm pretty like ahead of the curve. I didn't do cocaine or anything, so I feel like I'm better off than at least like half my town. Like, fuck. It's just crazy to think of.
Demacia marches as one.
I find it crazy to think how dumb I am sometimes, but then I like interact with the public and they can't do like taxes and like they can't calculate like the tax on a $50 item in their head. And I'm like, that just blows my mind.
Faith in yourself.
And like you just times the tax by 5. It's 15%, so it's $1.50 on 10. So you're paying 50, so it's just $1.50 times 5.
Fear not.
And they're like, how'd you do that? Like people got to pull out a calculator and multiply 1998 times 10. It's 198. It's like 200. It's like $215 with tax. $230 with tax. Like, what do you gotta like? What? The guy doesn't want like a specific price. He just wants to know roughly how much this shit's gonna cost. What do you need a calculator for? Working in the public is like one of those eye-opening experiences you can probably ever have. Because you realize how like dumb the people that run the show are, and you realize how dumb most of the people that work there are, and you realize how dumb most of the people you interact with in general are, and you're like, I didn't know it was this bad. Like, oh my god. Like, I grew up watching those videos, People of Walmart. Bro, I didn't know that was like, I didn't know that was an everyday thing. I didn't know that was like I didn't know that was like a 24/7 channel. God, I thought it took months to get these clips. Nah, man, his buddy probably just went down and recorded a day's worth of Walmart.
I stand ready.
Just blows my mind.
Enemy killing spree.
Protect our land.
I find it weird too that people can't talk about things that are uncomfortable like COVID. I know I'm not going to go on a ramble about this. I'm just going to say I find it very strange that people are so uncomfortable talking about something that affects literally the entire like planet.
Forge onward.
So it's not like one person can be perceived badly for talking about it, because it's literally affecting everybody, but it's like nobody wants to talk about it because of how stressful it is. But we keep letting the people who like do these things keep doing them, and then we bitch about how life sucks. But it's like, well, if you don't talk about the uncomfortable things, it's never going to get better. Obviously, talking about it with 3 or 4 people, 2 or 3 people here on Twitch isn't going to change anything. I'm just saying, I find it. I've been trying to talk about this with literally anybody that will listen for since it began, and I haven't found a single person that can talk about it for more than like 5 minutes without getting like frustrated or annoyed, or like they just don't even want to talk about it. And it's like, how, like it's like just being blatantly taken advantage of, and you know it, and you don't want to talk about it because of how stressful it is. And it's just like, I just know I'm noticing this with more and more things since, like, maybe it's always been this way, but like since COVID, I've been noticing it more and more. Like people just don't want to talk about uncomfortable things because of like, I don't know, maybe they don't want to be signaled out and seen as like being on the opposition of it or something. I don't know. I don't understand it. I never understood it during, because I was always like, okay, sure, yeah, we can talk about it after COVID ends, and people don't have to worry about people dying anymore. And, you know, we got the vaccines and we got the data, and it's like, you know, we don't have to be conspiracy chatters. Like, we can all just talk about the facts. But it hasn't got to, it never got to that point. It's been almost a year since, and it's still like, as soon as I start to talk about it, let's talk about something else. And I just find it so crazy. I find it so strange how we are literally brainwashed into not wanting to talk about things that are uncomfortable, that affect our lives. And I'm sorry if that sounds like negative or like doom or boom or whatever, but it's just weird to me.
Forget why we fight.
And that's all. It's just weird. Like, I can't even sit down and have a conversation with anybody in my family about like whether or not certain things were right or wrong. Like, it's just nobody wants to talk about it point blank at all. And it's like the biggest thing. It's literally like a once in 100-year plague, and nobody wants to talk about how we managed it. I'm sorry. I just find it fucking weird. How did they manage that one? I don't know.
Keep faith in yourself.
But I think because I've stayed away from social media and the internet, or like TV, the news, politics, I feel like I am more confused about it, but have like the understanding that it exists.
Shut down.
Fear not.
Whereas if I did watch it, I probably would understand why it happens, but I wouldn't even think about it happening because I'd be so like brainwashed into what I'm seeing anyway. And I mean, I see it every single time I ever see the news on TV, going to like my sister's or my mom's. It's just like Fox is on or CNN's on or some bullshit's on, and it's like, it's just always there's so much crazy bullshit. I'm like, how do you sit there and watch this all day long and like not expect your brain to get like rotted out? And then actual shit happens and you don't want to talk about it. But like, let's talk about what the Kardashians did last weekend. Like, I don't know, man.
Pour Demacia.
It stresses me out. I'm not gonna lie. It doesn't make me feel like the future's going to go in a positive direction. It makes me feel like we're just going to get taken advantage of as a population more and more and more blatantly, and people are going to turn a blind eye to it more and more.
An enemy has been slain.
And it's like we could be talking about things like this now, but nobody is. Everybody's avoiding it. Nobody's wants to talk about anything.
Enemy triple kill.
Everybody just wants their social media clout and like all this bullshit. And I don't get it. I don't get it, but it doesn't seem like we're going in a good direction here in the world.
Protect our land.
Like, Canada is literally starting to feel more and more like a third world country, like every day. And I know how like crazy and extreme that sounds, but it's like I'm seeing homeless people here in my town of like 8,000, and I've never seen homeless people before in this town. Like, what the fuck? There's homeless people here now? Like, what? Since when? Like, they were always in the big cities and shit. Yeah, but like, even then, I just feel like it was never as bad. It's like McDonald's isn't even open 24/7 anymore. Like, the wages compared to like the pricing is just fucked on literally everything, and I don't ever see how it can be repaired without going into like, you know, like Venezuela territory where you're like printing money now. Like, I just don't get it. I don't get how the world is going to go back to 2016. And then you've got these literal giant groups of billionaires saying shit like eat, they want you to eat bugs and own nothing. You'll own nothing and be happy by 2030. And it's like, nobody talks about it. Nobody cares. Nobody gives a flying fuck. And it's like right there in your face. And you don't want to talk about it. It's weird.
Be bold. Be just.
Like, we shit on, like, here's a good example. We shit on China for having a social credit score or whatever, to where if you talk about something, you get, like, you know, you get your points lowered and shit, right? And now you don't get, like, the freedoms and whatnot. And we criticize them for not having as much freedom of speech, yet we don't even care enough to want to talk about certain issues here that, like, do you see what I'm talking about? Certain countries, you literally go to jail for talking about things that we don't even want to talk about here just because they're uncomfortable. Like, there's no penalty at all to talking about it and figuring shit out. But we just don't give a flying fuck about it. That's just how I see the world at the moment. It's a bit pessimistic, but I mean, it's just, it is how it is. I've been trying to spark a conversation about this shit for 4 fucking years, and everybody keeps saying we'll talk about it later, not right now. But it's like, when's later? Like, there's never going to be a later, because there's always going to be something new. Like, and then we wonder why the leaders of the countries can't ever figure out any of these issues, and why we're still firing fucking rockets at each other over in the Middle East and shit. It's because nobody wants to fucking talk about it. Nobody wants to acknowledge anything, or say whose fault it is, or talk about anything, or sit down and say, hey, let's just talk about this shit. It's because the world's just so fucked. We've just let shit go too far in one direction.
Marches as one.
And I don't think we're ever gonna go back. I'm so glad I got to live, like, growing up through the 90s and the, like, early 2000s, because holy shit, like, you're never gonna get that experience again in life. You're never gonna get that again. You're never going to get that type of an experience. And it's not even like, oh, you're gonna get a different one. You're gonna get a worse one. Like, by far. Because I feel like the 80s and the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, they were all good. And then even the early 2000s, 2010s. I don't think anybody's going to say the 2020s were good. I just think it's going down from there. Personally. And I might be wrong on that, but it just doesn't seem like we're doing any mitigating factoring right now. So, like, why would anything change? Like, people are becoming more racist. We don't want to talk about government control. We don't want to talk about literally a brand new type of vaccine being introduced to the entire world population, because talking about it in a negative connotation might get you branded as an anti-vaxxer. It's just like, what the fuck? Like, we're sending billions of dollars to Ukraine and Israel while people are sleeping on the streets. And there's drug addicts just roaming the fuck, like, everywhere. Like, it's just nuts. It's nuts. It's nuts. It's like there's no. It's because nobody wants to talk about it. Nobody wants to talk about it. It's because everything I just brought up, nobody wants to talk about it unless it's for clout, or to try and make somebody angry, or to make money, or it's like nobody ever wants to try and figure out the fucking problem.
The scoundrels will pay.
Unless they can create another problem to then try to, like, create make the, what is it, like, create the problem, make the solution, or something like that. Like, it's like the cycle. Like, you can literally create these cycles if you have, like, enough money and, like, clout and, like, power and, like, business knowledge and stuff like this, like supply and demand. Like, you can do all this stuff. It's like we have so much, like, there's so much psychological analysis that's gone on in the last 20 years on how the brain works, yet we are now at a point where we're less and less willing to talk about how that psychological, like, bullshit impacts the decisions that we're, like, faced with on a day-to-day basis, like this bullshit over the last couple of years that nobody wants to still talk about. It's crazy. It's crazy, and that it makes me feel like people are getting dumber. It makes me feel like people are lacking their people are lacking values of like integrity, morals, you know, like you'd rather turn the blind eye constantly than ever just, you know, open both of them up and say, hey, you know, one eye wasn't blind, I just chose not to open it because I didn't want to see what was on the other side of the room. Like it's nuts. It's nuts. And I don't think I've ever seen a time in my life where it's been this bad, where you just cannot talk about something without being straight up told stop talking about this. Like I start talking about this and I get hit with less COVID talk, more gaming. And it's like, this is my stream. This is me just talking about something. I've barely been talking this entire stream. And I start getting passionate about something that I feel like people should be more passionate about, talking about issues that we're dealing with in the world in general, and I get told to shut up basically. And it's just, I know that's not what your intention was, but that's what I'm seeing more and more of in general. It's not that you don't want to talk about it, you don't want me to talk about it either.
This world needs hope.
Okay, but why is my booty so fat tonight? I almost feel like banning you after you listen to me ramble about that shit for like 20-30 minutes and then hit me with that bullshit. I almost want to ban you for it. Like, holy fuck. This is what I'm talking about. Nobody gives a flying fuck anymore. It's all a joke. Like, holy shit. I literally just like pour out some straight fucking like, I don't get it. This is what I'm talking about. Nobody gives a fuck anymore, man. Holy shit. I wish I could go back to 5 years old and just play fucking Super Nintendo and never get older.
Rampage.
Our deeds shape the future.
That's fucked up. I'm sorry. That's fucked up. Like, I'm sitting here talking about how I don't think humanity can make a comeback, and you hit me with like a joke or a meme instead of like even one seriousness of even one iota of a seriousness of, even if you don't give a shit, just to entertain me, to get me to shut up about it. But no, instead you hit me with this fucking meme of a joke from that you probably heard on fucking TikTok, and you just ignore everything I've said. And it's like, what the fuck? And it just blows my mind. It blows my mind. It just blows my mind. Everything's a fucking joke these days. I don't have to, yeah, I don't either. But like, you know what you know what I mean when I say that. Like, you know what I mean. Like the TikTok brain or whatever the fuck people keep saying. The YouTube scrolling, the doom scrolling. See, now I gotta explain. Like, I
will not falter.
Like, I feel like I literally just talked about all this. You got YouTube, don't you? You know what YouTube Shorts are?
Fear not.
You got Reddit, don't you? You've never scrolled through Reddit? You've never gone on YouTube Shorts? Come on. You've never gone on Instagram Reels? You've never gone on Snapchat Stories? Come on, you know what I'm talking about? Like,
we are the vanguard.
no, you don't do any. No, you don't do any of this at all. Of course not. See, now I feel like I'm getting trolled. Now I feel like I'm actually getting trolled.
We fight for those who cannot.
Don't scroll through Reddit. I use Reddit to educate myself on things.
Enemy double kill.
Yeah, you gotta be taking the piss. I'm just gonna stop talking. Once again, I try to talk about a serious fucking issue with somebody and they don't give a flying fuck. Yeah. I'm just gonna shut up. It's like, it's not even that you don't, it's not even that you don't care. It's that you're like, I feel like you're making fun of me for it. Or like taking the piss out of it. Like it's just, I don't know.
Our courage must never waver.
No, no, please, I don't want to force you to do something uncomfortable. I don't want to force you to have an internet conversation about something that's uncomfortable
Stand ready.
for like 5 minutes. That happened years and years ago. God forbid, right? God forbid I even just passively talk about something. Not here to upset you, so I'll go. Alright, whatever. Yeah, you have a good night. Thanks for dropping in.
An ally has been slain. An ally has been slain. Your turret has been destroyed.
Your long overdue end.
Your turret has been destroyed. Your inhibitor has been destroyed. An ally has been slain. An ally has been slain. An enemy
I'm just gonna stop. I'm just gonna stop streaming after this game.
Forge onward.
I might even just take a fucking break from it. It's like I get one person who I start talking about COVID for a fucking hour, and just now they left because I'm upset over it. Like, why? What am I doing?
Fear is the first of many foes.
No wonder there's nobody ever. No wonder there's never anybody fucking here. I'm a depressing sack of shit.
Your team has destroyed a turret. An ally has been slain.
In the king's
I get asked to stop talking about one thing, and I just don't do it. Like, it's like, what am I doing?